James Wiseman is one of the top prospects in this year's draft, and some think that he could be the NBA's next great big man. But due to the small amount of film that we have on him, his exact draft stock is unknown. So in today's video, we'll talk about James Wiseman, how good he can become, and where he will get taken in this year's NBA draft. Let's get right into it. If you have not already, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm putting out content multiple times a week, and your support goes a long way. But anyways, getting right into things, James Wiseman, like I mentioned before, has a very unknown draft stock. In mock drafts, I've seen him go as high as the number 1 overall pick, or as low as outside the top 10. So I'm pretty sure that nobody really has a good idea of where James Wiseman will actually go, but I think that's going to depend on a team's personal preference because, like I said, some people have him going number 1 overall, some people have him going outside the top 10. But one thing is for sure about James Wiseman, and that is that he has some ridiculous potential. At 7'1" with a 7'6" wingspan, James Wiseman has elite size and length for any level, whether that's the college level, which he absolutely dominated at, or the NBA level. I think that James Wiseman will have no problem when it comes to gating mismatches and guarding most of the centers in the NBA. Another great tool in James Wiseman's game is the fact that he has great athleticism, especially for a guy of his size. His vertical and strength make him killer on the defensive end, and I think that he is absolutely elite when it comes to defense and rebounding just because of his combination of size, vertical ability, and strength. And I think that he will become one of the best shot blockers in the NBA if he develops the way that I think he will. Now obviously defense and rebounding aren't the most flashy stat categories, but that is why I like James Wiseman as a prospect. He does all the dirty work, he does all the little things, he does the things that most other players don't care about as much. He prioritizes the defensive end, and I think that that's why I like James Wiseman the most, but that doesn't mean that he isn't also good on the offensive end. His low post game is also very good, and his vertical ability and his strength definitely contribute to this. I think his athleticism kind of helps him on the offensive end, being able to score over smaller centers and then using his athleticism to get past bigger, slower defenders. I think that he's kind of agile for a big man. I think that he's more agile than most guys his size, but I wouldn't say that, he's this elite speedster type of guy. But like I said, he is fast enough to beat bigger guys than him because there aren't very many bigger guys than James Wiseman in the NBA, and most people in the NBA he will have a size advantage over. So I think that inside the paint, James Wiseman is very, very good on the offensive end as well. I think that James Wiseman's athleticism, his size, his ability to finish around the rim will be huge in the NBA. Obviously, the pick and roll is a huge part of pretty much every NBA team's offense, and I think that James Wiseman will be very, very good in the pick and roll game. However, even though I think that James Wiseman is an absolute paint beast on both the offensive and the defensive end, I think he dominates inside. There are some issues with his game, and there are some things that could become obstacles for him as he develops in the NBA. And the first issue is that the modern NBA isn't built for inside dominant centers. Obviously, we see like Rudy Gobert, we see Joel Embiid, but Joel Embiid, while he is inside dominant, he has an outside game as well. Obviously, Karl Anthony Towns has an outside game as well. A lot of these centers who are dominant inside also have an outside game, and James Wiseman does not have much of an outside game, which obviously with the modern NBA could be an issue for him. This isn't to say that James Wiseman will be a bust or that he'll be a bad player, but to really become a star center in the NBA, or if your center wants to be the best player on your team, they have to do more than just inside scoring. Obviously, Nikola Jokic is pretty much the point guard of the Nuggets. His passing ability is ridiculous. He obviously also shoots threes, so he has an outside game as well as an inside game. Plus, like I said, he's the main distributor on the Denver Nuggets. So that is why Nikola Jokic is able to be the star player of that team. Karl Anthony Towns, like I said, inside and outside game. So that is why he is able to be the star player of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Joel Embiid is the same thing. He has both an inside and an outside game. James Wiseman, like I mentioned before, doesn't really have that yet. He has a little bit of a jump shot, a little bit of a mid-range. I think I saw him take a couple of threes, but he is definitely not at the level where teams are going to want him to be chucking them up in an NBA game at that extended range. He is definitely not a consistent enough shooter to be casting up threes. So, in my opinion, if James Wiseman really wants to take his game to the next level and become a star player in the NBA, he will need to develop an outside game. He will need to be able to become more comfortable with the ball outside of the paint. And like I said, he won't be a bad player if he doesn't do this. He just won't be a star. In my opinion, James Wiseman has a ton of potential, but he's also a very safe pick, which you don't see a lot. Oftentimes, guys are boom or bust picks, so they'll either become a very good player or they won't really turn out to anything. In my opinion, this is not the case with James Wiseman. In my opinion, James Wiseman is already going to be a good NBA player because of his elite size and length and his athleticism to go along with his size and length. Plus, I think that he has the ability to become even better, to become that elite caliber of center because, like I said, he already has the tools to be a great center. Plus, if he can just add a little bit more to his game, then I think he will be even better. But anyways, that's my thoughts on James Wiseman. Please leave your thoughts on him in the comment section down below. Let me know where you think he will be taken. Let me know what you think his ceiling is. And let me know what team you think should take him. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.